We are in Japan right now for Formula Drift Japan, of course. Round 3 here at Fuji Speedway. When you say Fuji Speedway, you think Mount Fuji. We would be able to. This would be a beautiful opening shot if it wasn't for those clouds in the background, unfortunately. But we're about to see some, as I said before, white clouds of another kind. We are halfway through qualifying for tomorrow's top 32 battles. My name is Alexi Smith. I'm here with Formula Drift driver, pro driver from the United States, Ken Gushi.
Hello.
We are about to begin the second runs.
We got Junya.
Getting straight back into it. Junya Ishikawa coming off a 0. He needs to get a score if he's going to make it into the top 32. All he really wants to do is make this run. Don't spin out. Keep it going. Keep the boot in. Keep the boot in. There you go, son. There's a score for Junya Ishikawa. He's going to be breathing a sigh of relief under his fireproof balaclava right now.
I don't know. I did see one issue was he had to reinitiate on his entry. I don't know if the reinitiation was before the one cone or after it, but we'll take a look here. He initiates once, straightens out, initiates again, but that was before the one cone.
That was
so
okay.
I'm going to say this is a scoreable run. But considering that was a pretty decent run.
I mean,
he
overall,
did fill
yeah.
out his own 1-2.
You get that
we
bit
do
of
see a little bit of steering wobble right there, but just a little shy off of outer zone 3, but crosses the finish line. So and there it is.
78. Ah, great. There you go. So a score there, 78 for Junya Ishikawa, coming off a 0 on his first run. Good for him.
Good for him.
No, that was a big improvement there. So I guess I'm going to say that. Well, I mean, 78. He's not currently the lowest in the score. All right, here we go. Next driver now. So once again, Kenji Yamanaka passing on his run, so he's not going to be qualifying. Moving on to this driver here, Masayoshi Tokita, 2JZ, Toyota 86, looking pretty good. Nice transition there. Inner clip, runs over the ripple strip there, all the way to the outer zone. Nice clean run. His first run was a 76.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it just to me it
Lacking.
looks like he's lacking on. I don't know if lacking is the right word, but he just looks like he's cutting the track from outer zone 1 to 2. Doesn't stay in the zones long enough. So there's just one.
I see what you're saying.
Touches it, gets to outer zone 2, but leaves it right away.
I see what you're saying.
Chops the track, ends up dropping his left front tire before the inside clip 1. Gets to outer zone 3, but just a little lacking.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, he's not really getting like his teeth into the outer zones. It's kind of, he just gets there and goes, okay, next one.
Right,
next
it
one.
just looks like he's treating them as a touch and go. So he gets to it,
Right.
touches it, leaves. It's a hit and run.
A hit and run.
Yep.
He's a hit and run driver on the outer zones.
Yep.
Unlike some of our other drivers we've seen get right deep into those zones. 79 for Masayoshi Tokita. So a slight improvement over his first score of 76. But considering the rest of the field we have here in front of us, that's not a great overall score, but we will be seeing him in the top 32 tomorrow.
Right, I mean, just to be safe, you do want to be at least in the 80s, low 80s.
At least low 80s at least if we're looking at the scores so far. We'll see what the rest of the field can put out there. Here comes our next driver now from Australia, Chris De Jager. De Jager bomb. Sort of missing that outer zone there. Okay, looking good here. Line maybe a little bit off here for Chris De Jager. Holding it flat over the finish line. First score was 76. I don't know if it's going to be an improvement over that.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see much of an improvement from a 76. Maybe a couple points here and there, but he is a little shy off of outer zone 1.
It's that outer zone, what we want to see.
That's the crucial part, it seems like, when we see the scoring. He does get to outer zone 2, though.
Yeah.
Just a little bit off of inside clip. And again, a little off of outer zone 3.
But that's the trick, isn't it? It's like you have to. So there you go. Score there of 77. So a one point improvement. 1 point improvement. Yeah, that's the trick, isn't it? It's like it's okay to be able to get to outer zone 2, but you have to get there from a good outer zone 1, isn't it? Right. That's what separates people. Right, next driver now, Tadahiro Fukada, sorry. Fukuda is also a Japanese name. It's Fukuda and Fukada.
His first run's a 78.
Yep. So this car, I think it's running a 2JZ. It's just a junk 2JZ engine out of an Aristo. He buys them cheap, and when he blows the engine, he puts in a new one. Out of zone, a little bit shallow there. Watch the flick back here. Yeah, a long way back across the track before transitioning. His timing just seems to be a bit off here.
Oh, you know what? That wasn't a bad run.
It wasn't bad. I just get the feeling that the timing of his transitions and everything was just a bit like one tempo off. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, let's take a look here. I mean, it did seem like he was out towards outer zone 1.
Go.
You're right, a little bit shallow on the angle.
Just there, that 1-2 bite.
Right, and a little bit of a correction on the steering input going to inside clip. So I'm going to say fluidity. Yep, you can see the style judge only gave him a 22, so that's where...
Would you like to say what those scores are out of, just for anyone wondering at home? What are the 3 scores out of?
For style, it's impact, fluidity, and commitment. So
out
10 points
of
each.
10, yep.
So that's 30 points in style alone, and he's got a 22. So.
All right, next driver now coming off a score of 50, so there's a lot of room for improvement. Masataka Kawashima in this Toyota Aventador.
A little late on the initiation.
Very late. So once again, it's the same sort of thing. Good out of zone number 2, but just coming off a weak out of zone 1.
It's really hard to see from this angle, but I don't know if he had initiated the car before the last standing cone.
Let's watch this replay.
We can see the judges are really tied to the monitor here, trying to see if he had initiated before the 1 cone.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, it looked okay. So to me, it looked okay.
He did try to initiate at the 3 cone, but it didn't seem like much of a success. So he had to reinitiate a couple times. I just don't know if that would have been a full initiation. So we'll see how the score is going to be reflected. But
when I said that before, the 3 different scores, what it's out of 100, right? How they
the total
how
scoring.
They split, yeah.
So you get, the style judge gets 30 points.
Okay.
And then line and angle gets 35 points each.
There you go. Just in case.
Those points are divided into different sectors of the course. So it's gonna be 10 points in various sectors.
Okay.
So outer zone 1 would be 10 points. Outer zone 2 would be 10 points. Initiation would be 10 points. I'm sorry, inside clip 1 would be 10 points. And then outer zone 3 would be only 5 points.
Did you just see that score there? It was a 60... What was that score just now, judges? 62.
Okay,
so
62.
Say
that was a judgeable, scoreable run.
Kawashima, an improvement on his first run. So just to keep it simple, 35, 35, 30 for the 3 scores you see there on the screen. We might get a bit deeper into it later that time. Next driver now, Takehito Morozumi, coming off a score of 67. Out of zone, you see them cutting the wheel around there, trying to set himself up for the second out of zone. Once again, cutting the wheel in there. It's really obvious if you look at the front wheel, what sort of inputs the drivers are putting into the angle of the car there. So he did it twice there.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. That's a testament to how much grip the rear tires or the rear suspension has. So his car's a little too tight for this track condition right now. You can see him fighting the steering wheel almost every zone and clip here again. So he's almost straight at inside clip. You can see him just fighting the car to keep it sideways throughout pretty much the rest of the course. His first score was a 67. Let's see if he can improve that. I don't know if that's maybe much.
I don't think that's going to be improvement over a 67. Yeah, there's quite a few big mistakes. Oh, there you go, exactly the same. That's the wrong prez there. That's not Mori. That is Morozumi. 67. Next driver now, Tomonori Tasaka. This almost time attack looking car. S15 Sylvia. It looks fairly extreme on the outside, but I had a bit of a look at inside and under that car. It's a fairly standard sort of build.
Is it?
Nothing too crazy. The rear end is all still sort of factory stuff, rubber bushings and things like that, so not too insane, despite it looking like a GT car. Okay, here we go. Next run now for Tasaka. Here he comes into view of the judges. Out of zone 1. There's the flick back here. Out of zone 2. Running a little bit too wide there. Losing a bit of speed out of zone. So his first run was a 72.
You know what, I'll be honest with you, I think that score is going to be a little better than a 72. He did have a pretty good line. I mean, like you said, he was a little off on inside clip 1, but where he's going to suffer the most is his angle.
Right.
He was pretty shallow, which could be because he's
nice
a little underpowered. But
yeah, no major steering corrections there. Look at the front wheel, just tracking around, following the line of the course.
And maybe a little off of outer zone 3, but his line wasn't bad from outer zone 2 to inside clip 1. So I think it's going to be a little better than a 72. But then again, who am I? I'm no judge.
Well, you're only an FD Pro driver, so. But, yeah, judging is an unenviable position to be in as far as competitions go. I've judged my fair share of comps, and yeah, at the end of the day, so 74, as called by Ken, a slight improvement for Tomonori Tasaka. It'll be interesting to see this car tomorrow in competition. Yeah, at the end of the day of the competition, you end up with one happy person and 31 unhappy people. But someone's got to do it, and we have 3 of the best here sitting next to us. Okay, next driver now, second run now for Hubert Lee. 73 on his first one, this Dazzle Camouflage JZX 100, heavy on the accelerator. Lacking a little bit of angle there, but his line's really good. This is a nice, clean run so far for Hubert Lee. Not a bad run there. Hubert also, since we went there before with Sheng, Hubert sort of looks like an accountant by day. Drift racer by night.
Huh. So what would you say about me then?
You?
Okay, let's get back to that.
Okay, let's watch the replay here.
Replay. He's pretty good on outer zone 1. Slightly lacking the commitment on transition, and like you said earlier, lacking on angle at outer zone 2, but does get to inside clip 1 and just a tad bit shallow off of outer zone 3. So I don't know. So his first run's a 73. I'm going to say it's going to be close to a 73, maybe plus or minus 2 points up. Yep.
Hey, there you go. That's what we pay you the big money for. 73.
Big money, huh?
Well, you know, 73. Well, it's not bad for sitting here and just talking.
Okay, so here we have Masayo Machan.
All right.
I'm excited for this
Family
one.
goals hype. Masayo Minowa. Her husband, Shinji, currently holds the first position in the qualifying points ranking.
Yep, and knowing Shinji, I bet you he went up to her and told her to just go all out for the second run.
We'll see what Masayo Minowa does. Here she goes, initiating nice and early. Big angle. Okay, good angle.
Nice.
Out of zone. What's the transition here? Oh, running too wide. That's not going to be... And throwing it a bit too hard. But she is going all out here, all the way to the edge of the track. Out of zone 3.
Maybe that was a little too aggressive in the wrong areas, but nonetheless, it was an aggressive run for Masayo or Machan. Really good on outer zone 1, considering her practice runs in the earlier session weren't looking too good. So
yeah,
let's take a look at the replay here.
So here we go.
She
Masayo
initiates
Minowa.
way early, so way before the 3 marker. Gets on the gas. Massages it to the outer zone 1, right there on the edge. Transitions a little too aggressive. Drops 2 tires, maybe 1 tire, but 2 tires off. Recovers quickly, goes towards inside clip 1, and carries through. So I don't know if that's going to be much of an improvement from the 82, but
yeah, that 82 on her first run, great score for Masayo Minowa. Yeah, 75. So unfortunately for her, not improving on her first score, but still 82. A decent score to have. It's about exactly where you want to be, the sweet spot of the field. You'll sort of end up in about halfway down the top 32 if things are going the way they are. Now, next driver now currently equal second place in the points ranking with an 87. with Kuniaki Takahashi. Kazuki Hayashi initiating nice and early, very confident looking. You see him getting on the brakes there.
That's a little bit left foot.
Nice flick. Hold the angle. Watch the front wheels. Winding up a little bit, but still a good run here for Kazuki Hayashi.
All right, so that's the first time we've seen some left foot braking going towards outer zone number 1.
Yeah, he did
that
it
is
quite
a full
well.
throttle area where you got to carry a lot of commitment. So I don't know how the judges will take that.
All right, so Ken, from a driver's perspective, what is he doing here?
I mean, basically, simply put, he's controlling his line while staying fully committed on throttle, using the front brakes to position the car properly at outer zone 2. But he gets off the front brakes immediately, shooting towards outer zone 2, and maybe goes a little bit wide, but ends up close to inside clip 1 to the outer zone 3. So it isn't the 87 that he had in the first run. It is an 80.
Yeah,
so we'll see how that score plays in the tiebreaker that he carries with 2 other drivers, which are Takahashi and Yamashita Koichi.
Yeah, so holding on to that 87, he's in a good place to be. All right, next driver now. This is Nick Wilson from Melbourne, Australia, over here with part of the Andrew Gray freight train team.
The posse.
Power vehicles. Looking pretty good so far. Throwing it too hard. Nick Wilson spinning.
Ooh, that could have been really ugly.
That could have been really ugly. Luckily, he got off it early enough to save that run. It looked like he may have been able to hold it for a split second there, but yeah, throwing it too hard. That's a shame for Nick Wilson.
Yeah, because he had 2 tires on the grass. I mean, once you get your tires on the grass, especially the tires that's powering your vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, you almost lose absolute control of the vehicle and it throws off your rhythm. So, unfortunate for Nick, he's going to be stuck with the 81 from his first run.
Can I make a prediction just so I can be as good as Ken? This is going to be a 0. There you go. Hey!
I would have never guessed, my man.
I've got to do something to keep up with you. All right. So unfortunately for Nick Wilson, with an 81 from his first run, he'll be holding on to that. Once again, right about where you want to be, middle of the field. We'll see what happens for the rest of the field, though. Okay, next driver now, Yoshichika Tamagawa. I'm sure he has a nickname. I'll have to go and find it out. Cargo Racing, JZA 80 Supra 2JZ, of course. Here he comes, already initiated very early.
Nice.
Out of zone. Watch the flick back here. This is looking pretty good so far. Nice acceleration and brake work here. Smooth run, very smooth run. Getting a round of applause. This is a great run for Tamagawa.
That. And like I said earlier, the guys who were transitioning before the beginning of outer zone 2 were the ones that were successful in connecting outer zone 2 to inside clip number 1, which is essentially what he does here. So we'll take a look. Early initiation, way before the 3 marker. Carries a lot of momentum and angle at outer zone 1. Early transition towards outer zone 2. Carries through, proper braking, hitting inside clip number 1, and then towards outer zone 3. So in terms of line, I think that's going to be a high score. And also, I got to say commitment too.
Yeah, he was very...
I mean, he does have a solid first run, though. It's an 85.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
91! So this is our current second place in the points of qualifying. Tamagawa with a 91. Great second run for him there. Yeah, holding a lot of speed through in between sector, the outer zone 1, outer zone 2. Good run to use as an example here at Fuji Speedway. Okay, next driver now we have Tetsuya Iha.
With the only crown in the series.
The crown, big car this. Also used as police cars and taxis in Japan. Very messy on that transition. So once again, this is also a new build for this year, but Iha not having a lot of success with this car so far.
I mean, it's always going to be a tough first season with a brand new build, but that run right there is not going to salvage his 73 on his first run.
Yeah,
I mean, right from the start, he was lacking a little bit of commitment as soon as he initiated. A little timid on the throttle. And transition right there.
Yeah, just that bit there hanging
no
up,
commitment.
getting caught on the back of the ripple strip. And very shallow there. Would it be fair to say that the Toyota Crown is sort of similar to the Crown Victoria in the United States?
I think
it's the same name.
The Toyota Crown is way better.
Oh, I agree with that.
Way better in every aspect.
Oh, of course. I mean, like it's used in Japan. It's
right
used
as a police vehicle,
taxi.
taxis. Yeah, I guess in terms of usage, it would be pretty parallel.
I bring that up every time because I don't know, I think it's kind of funny. 63 there, Tetsuya Iha, so not improving on his 73, dropping an entire 10 points on his second run. Of course, he will be going through to the top 32 with that score. Okay, next driver now. We have Shinichiro Saito. You can see the top of the turbo just peeking out there. I believe it's one of those, what's those turbos that people are using these days on 2Js?
Garrett?
No, the German maker.
Garrett?
Is Garrett German?
Kidding.
I don't know.
Borg-Warner?
Yeah, that's the one. There we go. Initiating. Okay, no problem with initiation there. For Saito, what's the transition here? You can really see him cutting the wheel left. Yeah, look how much he's cutting the wheel left and right. Baking it over the finish line. James Bond escape over the finish line there. But yeah, as we used to say in Australia, dialing long distance on the steering wheel there. Really cutting it left and right, left and right. A lot of corrections.
Again, yeah, I think we're just seeing a lot of lack of commitment going from outer zone 1 to 2. I mean, his transition was extremely, I guess, mellow or weak.
Look at his hands.
Yeah, ends up overshooting inside clip 1. Has a lot of steering corrections going towards outer zone 3.
And escaping there into a cloud of smoke. So Shinichiro Saito's second run. His first one was a 73. I think it's going to be about
the
73.
same.
There you go. I was going to say 72. About the same there for Saito.
You know, we're getting pretty good at this guessing game.
I'm still not on your level or Ryan Sage's level. He seems to get it. He doesn't call many, but when he does call them, he's like dead on. Like he's like, I don't know. He must play a lot of poker or something. He knows exactly where to call.
Or he's just, you know, part founder of Formula Drift.
Well, there you go. I guess that could be part of it.
See, we got James Tang.
James Tang, 2JZ
120.
BMW 120. Very cool looking car. Would like to see some more drift cars looking like this. All the way out of zone. Zach, whoa, and stalling up a little bit there. And ruining his transition.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's not a great run there for James Tang.
Yeah, he's been having trouble at that same spot pretty much all day. That transition from outer zone 1 to outer zone 2. I just don't know if his car is set up for his driving style or if he's just not comfortable in the car yet. But he has a really good approach to outer zone 1. It looks really good coming out of the blind corner from where we're sitting.
It really does.
It's just unfortunate that the car doesn't look like it's dialed going from...
Did you see that little tap of the brakes there? And it kind of it unsettled the car.
Right.
He thought he had hit the brakes in order to pull up in time to make out of zone 2, but that just seemed to unsettle. We have seen another driver do that. Who was that before? Do that little tap there. But in that case of James Tang,
earlier, yeah, we saw Hayashi do the left foot braking in outer zone 1.
That's right, it was Hayashi, yeah. And it worked for him, but unfortunately James Tang there, 0, big duck egg for him.
Right. So this guy was the one I was talking about earlier, Hayato Miyoshi with the 34. He had really solid transitions during practice, so let's see if we can get that same sort of flick.
It's a bit of a commentator's pick here. We'll see what he can do. Watch this here. Very late, although he still has time to do it. Watch this flick. There we go. Bit better. A bit of a correction there. Sort of 2 little corrections we can see there. Miyoshi. A 66 on his first run. Maybe an improvement. But that entry
I think
there.
so, but the entry was where it looked a little bit sketchy. I mean, it didn't look like his car settled properly as soon as he had initiated. So we see a lack of smoke here and a lack of commitment. But the flick here is quick, going towards outer zone 2. So that might be the point where he makes up some of the points from this run, which could have been...
Yeah, not a very, how to say it, not a very actually, I can't say manly, that's a, because we...
I mean, the flick was manly. I mean, it wasn't full angle to full angle, but it is an improvement from his 66.
68. Yeah, well, I've got to say, we have Masayo out there, so I can't say manly because her entries were fire. I've got to say gutsy.
Her entries were manly, considering
there
she's missing 2 of the
Are we going to go there? We're in Japan, so we can sort of get away with more of that sort of stuff over here. Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's stop right there. We are broadcasting all the way around the world here. You can see his intercoolers, I mean his radiator spray running right there.
Looks like a happy face.
Happy little drift cars. Ikuo Saito.
That's
Happy
nice.
because he's in his element here. Watch this transition. They're transitioning a little bit late there, but not a bad run so far for Saito. His first run is 75, banging off that limiter. Brrr.
Yeah, again, it comes down to how soon you can transition to outer zone 2. Some of these guys who are transitioning
Really late.
not late, but to the beginning of outer zone 2 are the ones that's missing inside clip 1. But the guys who are transitioning before outer zone 2 towards outer zone 2 are the ones that are making the inside clip. So it's really tough to say.
I mean, there's two factors to that transition. Well, maybe there's more. Okay, the factors to that transition are, first is the speed you come into there with. The second is the angle you come into there with. And the third is when you transition, right? And those three things, so score there 84 for Ikuo Saito, so definitely an improvement on his 75. So those three factors, if one of them is off or two of them are off, that's completely going to destroy your transition and your second outer zone, right?
Right, so I guess it comes down to a give and take.
That's it. It's that whole, a triangle between those three things, and how far you can max them all out, whether if depending on your car setup and your style. Right, second run now for Kazama Shacho. Looking good so far. Watch the flick here. Again, another tap of the brakes there. Similar to what we just saw there with James Tang, unsettling the car. Getting on limiter, big chuff, chuff, chuff with the turbo over the finish line. Kazama. So watch the brake LED banner just above the windshield banner as he transitions from Sector 1 to Sector 2. Let's watch this again.
I think he just panicked
Right
and
there.
got on the brakes.
Yeah. I mean, that corner comes up fast. Yeah, that big straight in there, that is a big...
Well, that's opposite drift, so it's safe to say that run
Zero.
is going to be a 0.
Oh, wow. So, Kazama Shacho, a 0, so falling back to his 62. That's one of the lowest scores.
Yeah, but we do have 5 cars that did not make qualifying due to mechanical issues.
Right.
So we'll see how far down the scoring will allow you to qualify.
All right, Rotary fans, are you ready? Second run now for Mad Mike Wedette. At a 70 in his first run. Here we go. Watch the flick here.
Nice flick.
Not bad, not bad. Couple of corrections there, but holding a good line, good angle.
That was a solid run.
Pop, pop, bang goes the rotary Mad Mike Wedette in the 4-rotor turbo. Let's watch this replay.
That was really good. His transition from outer zone 1 to outer zone 2 with a lot of angle.
Yeah, it was very smooth.
Looked very
this
committed.
time. Committed, there you go. Already pre-steering the car.
Just a little long on the e-brake and another pull right there, inside clip.
Yeah.
But a really good smoke show for Mike, or Mad Mike, with that. I don't know if that's going to be the top qualifier, though. Maybe.
No, it's going to be high, but there we go. Score of 85 for Mike Wedette. So massive improvement, a 15-point improvement over his first score of 70. So he's...
Look at this. He looks like a little boy.
He is. He's
Is he
just
10 years old?
He's just out of high school. I think he's in high school. He's like third grade high school. So he's like Kokosei, I think. I don't know.
Wow, and he's sitting 15th in the series. But he's got a better than 0.
He's got a better 0. Yanaguda, his first run was a 0. He needs to improve on that. Basically, he needs to complete this run. Keep it going. Keep it going. Kick it. Kick that clutch. Oh, was that a lot? Did he lose that drift? Oh no. He had a 0 in his first run. But in Formula Drift, they are very strict on straightening before the end of a run. Now, we did just see before Yanaguda or we should just call him by his first name, it's easier, Kanta. Kanta, he did a lap around the track after one of the other drivers. I think he may have asked for permission just to do a test lap. So that may suggest
well, you know what? On his
problems.
first run, it did look like he was lacking a little bit of power at the same spot. So what I would have done personally was to jack up the rear tire pressure
just
to
bake
make that sector, because the same thing happened in the first run. He didn't have enough power to carry through. And then we see here in the same second run, from inside clip 1 to outer zone 3, I just, strained up. We heard him kick the clutch many times, which is a sign of insufficient power.
Yeah.
So if you were to strategize that, you would jack up the rear tire pressure, at least to make the car a little bit loose, maybe sacrificing speed, but you know what, that's life, and that's drifting.
So unfortunately, Snake Eyes for Yanagida, 0-0, knocked out. Next driver now, Takatoshi Imamaida, S14, also with a 0. He's got to break this chain. All he has to do is complete this run properly, but he's going all out. By no means is he making this an easy run on himself. This is not a bad run. Imamaida, aggressive. That's an aggressive run coming off a 0.
Right, and sometimes it's really hard to do that, to push yourself to be aggressive after a 0 like that.
I mean, what's the mental part of that?
I mean, sometimes you just gotta tell yourself, after this, I'm going for it.
Have you ever been have you been in that position before?
Many times. I mean, I've been doing this for 14, 15 years, and there's many situations or instances where I had
where you had come off a 0,
like this guy, you just sort of flip off that switch and go for it. And that's exactly what he did here.
Nice.
So he gets a 73, which is definitely better than that 0.
Yeah, 73-point improvement. Yeah, he's got to flick that switch. So effort.
Effort as in forget it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking otherwise.
There you go. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Hey, forget about it. Just got to drift it. 73, great run there for Imamaida. Okay, next driver now. Get your earplugs ready. Junji Yamamoto, rotary. It's even colored like a Dorito. Nice outer zone here. This is looking good. Watch the flick here. Smooth, filling that outer zone. Inner zone there. Outer zone. Wow, that is the deepest I think we've seen people get into those 3 outer zones so far today.
That was a solid run for him. I mean, he's got a 68 on his first run, but I think that's definitely going to improve that 68. He's got a really good approach going towards outer zone 1. Nice early transition going towards outer zone 2. Fills the entire zone, makes it to inside clip number 1, and then to outer zone 3 to the finish line. So let's take a look. Nice.
Do you think, see how smooth, do you think this might be a case where he actually pumped up his rear tire pressure?
Possibly. I mean, the track was looking tight for a lot of these cars out there, and he was one of the groups, or one of the cars in that same area where I was commenting about the tight setup, so he might have made some changes. I'm almost certain we're going to see an improvement over a 68.
Yeah, that was definitely, okay, 75, so not quite into the 80s. Lacking a bit in style, okay. I guess that transition was quite...
I would have... It wasn't, the snappy transition we've seen from the likes of Shinji, but I would have scored a little bit higher than him.
I think I probably would have too.
I feel like he got a little bit...
But still, 75, he's on the board. He will be in the main show tomorrow. All right, next driver now, we have Jin Harino. I believe he's actually a professional racing driver.
I think so too, a GT driver.
He's a GT driver, but he's out here. Having some fun. Doing it right here in his S15 Silvia, 2JZ powered. Really a lot of clutch and accelerator work there. Not quite, either the car or the driver is not quite dialed in.
It's weird. It's hard to see with the black wheels, but I don't know if I saw a understeer on his initiation. We'll take a look here, but...
Luckily we have a replay. Let's watch this. And... very slight, yeah.
And then he treats outer zone 2 as a touch and go, so he gets in there for a quick second, leaves it right away towards inside clip, and then to outer zone 3, so... might see a slight deduction from a 78, which was his first score.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be better than a 78.
I was wrong. It was another 78.
Well, no, it's not better than a 78 because it's a 78. So you were right.
I thought it was going to be a little lower than this.
I sort of thought that too, yeah. But I guess the speed overall wasn't that bad. And
I think my eyes need an alignment. All right, so we got Yokoi next.
got to get the run the spanners over your eyes. Okay, next run. Yokoi hype, transition hype. Let's see what he can do this time. Again, running that really shallow line. They're trying to get his... Oh, big angle. Yokoi.
Oh, my God.
Woo! Nice. Just see that entry. Do you think that's what he was going for? Like, when he did that first run, he ran really shallow. Look, I thought he was trying to do it to get speed.
I don't know.
But, wow. That was...
that looked weird.
Let's watch this replay.
That looked cool, but that looked weird.
Let's watch it. Let's watch this again. That was a cool run there.
That was a cool
Look at
approach.
this.
He's backwards.
Woo!
Almost backwards to outer zone one.
But clean transition.
Right, but the transition was a little, I mean, you know, compared to that entry, it made the rest of his run look a little bit conservative. So,
what's the word in Japanese? Merihari?
Merihari.
Yeah.
Merihari.
Like a contrast between highs and lows.
That's going to be a solid run. That's going to be a solid score. Definitely better than a 60 or, I don't know,
78?
78 for sure.
It could be. Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what the judges have to say. I mean,
Sometimes
style.
the judges don't like. Ooh, yep.
91 for Masashi Yokoi.
Well, you know what? He did hit all the clips.
He did.
Lose momentum.
I mean, technically, it was still a good run.
And he had a really crazy approach to outer zone one. So.
Yeah, we haven't seen anyone else do that. So 91. So that's currently equal second place in qualifying with Tamagawa in the Supra. So we are now in the top 10. This is the second run for the top 10 now. Second run for Daichi Oshiro. Okinawa Shushin, all the way from Okinawa. Watch the flick here. You hear him putting the clutch in, revving his engine up, dumping it, making sure to keep the engine up in the higher end of the revs. Yeah, it looks like he doesn't really know what to do with this track. I mean, we just saw the Yokoi bending the track over and giving it a spanking. But
well, I think that's what does it, is after you see a run like Yokoi's, everything else might look a little timid. But in reality, this run was not bad. He does have a really good approach to outer zone one. There he goes to the edge of the track. In fact, a little over it, and then nice angle at outer zone two. Gets to inside clip one, and then just struggles to get the car on power. And struggles to get the car to the power band to carry through, but it is a huge improvement over 69.
Yeah, big improvement.
I would have assumed.
81 there for Oshiro, so puts him into the meat of the field. So yeah, nothing too insanely flashy on that run, but a good solid run for Oshiro, as you'd expect for someone who is in 10th place in the point standings. Okay, our next driver now pulling up to the start line. Kuniaki Takahashi.
Yes, I'm excited for this because he did pull off an 87 on his first run.
See what he can do. I don't know if his spotter might be in his ear about that run that Yokoi just did. This particular car, the Mark X, with the G's body kit. That is actually a dealer body kit on that car.
Kit.
That factory kit, that factory front bumper, factory headlights too. Okay, initiating. That's a bit weird. Yeah, shallow line there. Good angle, so doing, nice, big angle, throwing it in, minimal corrections there. So maybe his spotter actually got on the mic there and said, hey, Yokoi just did that, you might want to do the same thing.
The only thing I would have to point out is that he did have a weird initiation. I mean, he initiated once, straightened out, and then initiated again before the last standing cone. But from
watch the cones in the foreground, here we go. And yeah, right there. But, I mean,
before that,
he was already at it. Oh, before that? Yeah,
right.
You're right, yeah.
But he did have a solid transition once again, with a lot of angle going towards inside clip one. In fact, it was a smooth approach from outer zone 2 to inside clip to outer zone 3. So hopefully the judges didn't see that weird initiation, but I'm sure they did because they see everything.
They are all-seeing and omnipotent judges. And we have a score here, 82.
So I'm going to assume they did see that.
They did, there you go.
Initiation. In fact, there's a re-initiation.
Not an improvement on his 87.
Yeah, but 87 is a solid score.
Still, yeah, he's still sitting on a very solid score. That puts him in currently equal third place. All right, next driver now. Yoshinori Shinozaki. Second run for him now. We go initiation all the way out to the edge of the track.
Wide, yeah.
Very wide, yeah. Very early off. Outer clip 2, inner clip. Not a horrible run there, but yeah, a bit of an interesting run there for
Well, yeah, he
Shinozaki.
started off way wide. If we look at the replay here, he's way wide on the track, at the edge of the track, even before outer zone 1. So it looks like he just ran out of, landscape. He just ran out of surface area.
Yeah.
So you can see here, so he's way wide at the track edge before outer zone 1. So he has to transition early, way early, which which forces an error at the outer zone 2, and just struggles to find the power to carry through. He does make it to outer zone 3, but again, the run does reflect his score.
So Shinozaki,
the score does reflect his run.
His run is 65, and that score being a 65. Not an improvement, he's 79. So in the lower end of the points here at Formula Drift Japan round 3. But we will see him tomorrow in the top 32 competition. Right, second run now for Kazuya Iizuka. 2JZ S15 Sylvia. First run is 67, so a lot of room for improvement on this run. Initiates. And taking that shallow line, sort of missing the outer zone a little bit. Outer zone, yeah, missing those outer zones. In clip, not too bad. Second half of the course looking okay. But once again, a couple of meters off the outer zone 1 and 2, the most important parts of the track. Transition was okay, but 67 on his first run, I don't know how much better it's going to be.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad run, but it just doesn't utilize the entire course. It does look like he gets to the outer zone, as we see here. So he does get to the edge of the course right there with this bumper. Maybe an inch or two off of outer zone 2, but doesn't fill the entire zone. It just seems like the first half of the run looked a little timid.
And the score there,
but
76.
It's still a huge improvement over his 67.
Definitely big improvement over his first run.
All right, I said it earlier.
Okay.
That run from Shinji was conservative. Let's see how much he pushes for a second run. I'm telling you now,
Okay.
we'll see it.
Second run now for Shinji. 94 on his first run.
Current leader.
Current leader, even after this
There he starts. His
second
booster tail.
batch of runs. Whoa, the amount of speed, throwing it too hard. Get on the brakes, there we go, stopping just short. Oh, well, you were definitely right about going hard.
Right.
That entry there, the speed of that entry. Oh, that's a shame, but despite that spin there, still in first place.
Yeah.
With only 5 cars to go.
I guess that was exciting in the wrong ways, but
So this
I
car
don't
here,
think anyone is going to beat that 94. Well, actually, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm
Well,
wrong. We do have 5 really talented drivers ahead of him. But a 94 is a tough one to beat.
zero. So the biggest gap in the 2 qualifying scores so far, a 94 and a 0 there for Shinji Minoa in the Fair Lady. I believe that car running the VQ engine, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Twin turbo? Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I think it's that car. There's a couple of those Boss built cars. His car he uses in the other series has actually got a VR35 in it. Okay, next driver.
Really early initiation.
Takahashi, very early, missing that outer zone. Watch the flick back here. Running really, really wide. Good angle there, though. That's a nice bit of angle, throwing it down there from outer zone 2 into the inner clip.
Yeah, and wow. Let's take a look at the replay. That was really good, actually.
That was good, yeah.
He starts drifting way early. In fact, I think that's the earliest that I've seen anyone initiate. So he starts right away. Goes a little shallow on the right-hand turn, but carries through. Just a little off of outer zone 1, but nice quick transition with a lot of angle. He utilizes the angle to slow down the car to make it to inside clip 1, but just a little bit off on outer zone 3. So I highly doubt that's going to beat the 94, but better than his 82.
So 2 fat ladies, 88. An improvement over his 82. I think that massive throw he did there from outer zone 2 into the inner clip is what did it.
All right, Nian, get excited.
All right,
get buck.
next driver, Sheng Nian. He'll give you some stock market advice and then back it in. That's what he looks like. Sheng Nian, one of the craziest drivers here. Already looking really good here. Watch the flick. Tap of the brakes. Once again, running really wide. Oh, and it's straightened up there. No, that's going to be an incomplete run for Sheng Nian. 86 in his first run, so he's going to be fairly safe, but yeah.
Well, he's definitely safe, but we just see how excited he gets once he's behind the wheel. So his true colors show. Of course, that would be a 0.
And a 0 for Sheng Nian from Singapore. Competing in every round of Formula Drift Japan this year. Also supported by Andrew Gray and Power Vehicles. He's part of that team. But, of course, a private entry for him. Nian's old man's got, I think he's got a couple of Lamborghinis too back in Singapore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he's got a fairly decent garage. It's pretty cool to see.
He's got, yeah, I would say a dream garage to many.
Jump on, if you got your phone out, jump on Sheng's Instagram. I think it's at Chicken Diarrhea.
Chicken Diarrhea.
I kid you not. That's Chicken Diarrhea is his Instagram. All right, next driver now, Kazuya Taguchi. 74 in his first run. We've definitely seen Taguchi do better than that. So taking a shallow line. So is he going to go for the Yokoi strat? Running very short. They're very shallow. So second half of the run looking pretty good, but yeah, that outer zone, missing it entirely.
Yeah, he's gonna have to work on his approach to outer zone 1. He's been doing that all day long, even before qualifying started during practice. He's just been a little timid, in fact, way timid.
Which is
quite
unusual for Taguchi, because he's usually quite aggressive.
Right, but we'll take a look here. He's a whole car length and a half off of outer zone 1. Yeah. Pretty good with angle in outer zone 2 and inside clip towards outer zone 3, but just the outer zone 1.
That's going to be the weak point of that run.
That's a huge part of scoring here. So 4 points better than his first run with a 78.
78, so an improvement, but yeah, not the sort of improvement that I'm sure he wanted. Right, we are down to the final 2 in qualifying here today for round 3 of Formula Drift Japan. Next car, currently in second place in the point standing, Andrew Gray, last year's champion. 2JZ, I believe the
nice early entry.
Big stroked 2JZ in this JZX100, looking good so far. Edge to edge in the JZX100, and hard on the accelerator, baking it over the finish line.
Nice run.
Nice run, yeah. It
wasn't as aggressive.
Maybe lacking a couple of, like, you know, the cherry on top.
Right.
But
so
still solid run.
Side from outer zone 1 to outer zone 2. We'll take a look here. Really good approach going towards outer zone 1, using a little bit of left foot braking as we see here.
Ooh, that could have gone bad there.
Just wasn't as committed going from one lock to the other lock. But nonetheless, I think that was a solid run.
Yeah, that run could have gone quite bad there, like just as he dropped the wheel off just past outer zone 1.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be a good score, though.
What I mean is, like, when we've seen other drivers do that and then lose it. But Andy, the car very well settled on the transition. 89, so a little bit of improvement over his 86. just missing out on getting a 90 score, but that's going to put him into roughly, what's that?
Easily, I think, the top 5.
Second, third. That's going to put him into third place in qualifying.
I don't think so. Fourth place,
Is it
I
fourth?
believe. Fourth or fifth.
We got a 94, two 91s. Oh yeah, so fourth place. You're right. Okay, our final run for qualifying today. Current number 1 in the point standing, champ Yamashita in the JZX 100 by Weld. Watch the transition here.
Nice.
Looking good. Nice, solid run. Sucks into the inner clip like a magnet and out of zone.
Very similar to Andy's run, actually.
Yeah, very similar to Andy's run just there. Yamashita, let's watch this replay. Maybe a little bit more flair on the run there for Yamashita compared to
especially his transition.
Yeah.
That's where the difference was, his commitment from outer zone 1 to outer zone 2.
See, like right here, as drift drivers, like that's, yeah, big, of course, the massive wing, the big wang and long tail on these big four-door sedans makes it even more obvious and very aggressive. But despite that, very good run there for Yamashita. See what score we get.
If it were me, I think it would be an improvement over the 87.
Maybe. Oh, it was an 86 in his first run.
Oh,
so
an 86?
Was it? Did I write it down wrong?
I don't know.
I may have written it down wrong. We'll see what the run is. 87. So even if it wasn't, it's an 87. So there you go, 87. So our current top scores, of course, that massively awesome run from Shinji Minoa at 94. We have 2 91s. So in second place would be Yoshichika. This is unofficial, by the way, I'd like to mention. Yoshichika Tamagawa in the Supra, 91. Third would be Masashi Yokoi, also with the 91, but with the lower first run score. Then we have scores of 87. Let's see. So that would be Koichi Yamashita, followed by Kazuki Hayashi. And then we would have let's see, maybe Kuniaki Takahashi after that. Oh, sorry. Andrew Gray after that, and then Kuniaki Takahashi. So that would be your top 5 or 6 drivers. That's just unofficial results, by the way. If you want to check the official results, make sure you follow social media. I'm sure you already are. But Formula Drift Japan, of course, this live stream running on the Formula Drift homepage, that is formulad.com. Of course, we have Formula Drift Japan Instagram, which will give you the times for tomorrow's competition. And so we will be running a top 32 battle tomorrow. If you want to check, we have as usual, we have an international time schedule. Hello,
hey.
We have an international schedule for that on the Formula Drift Japan Instagram. I'm sure if you just search for it, you'll find it. It's easy, because even if I say it, you probably won't remember it. So just do a search for that. It has a map, so no matter where you are in the world, you'll know what time it is to tune in tomorrow on the same place on the live stream for the top 32 battles, which will be here again, same course tomorrow. We'll be running that. That will be round 3. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow in that background, that shot there, we'll have a nice blue sky and be able to see Mount Fuji here at Fuji Speedway. So that is the end of qualifying for today. Ken, so this has been Alexis Smith and Ken Gushi here doing your commentary. We'll be back tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, Ken, what do you reckon of... we're not done yet. No, we're not done yet. What do you reckon of the runs we saw so far today? Oh, hang on. No, we are running to a commercial? Okay. So
Told you.
Okay.
All
He
right.
was saying stretch it out. Catch us tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow doing more live streams. Looking forward to it. We'll see you again tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. Check it out. Just go to social media. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.